Shalom, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakudash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shabbat Shalom, Salakia. Shalom, and salutations to all the brothers that pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. This pretty much says it all. This is Skeletor today. And I know I keep going back to Skeletor, but hey, some people are, diligently being used to push this truth out, right? Or information for that matter. And it's our job to watch, be watchmen, and if this guy is doing the legwork and it pans out, we filter it through the scriptures and we put it out there for the hopeful elect. Okay, so and what does it say? It is over for Babylon, Babylon the Great. All right, and it is that's Skeletor. Now is Skeletor Israelite? I don't know. Okay, but the Most High is using him to bring out this information. He clearly looks like a devil, an Edomite. He looked like I was, right? Let's get I was real quick, just for the hell of it. Let's see. I was. What is that? They don't want I was to come out. I was. Uh, what's the guy's name? Crowley. I was Crowley. And we'll get I was. Okay. So let's spell it right. AIWASS Crowley. And then we'll hit images. Where's I was? Here's I was right here. Okay. This guy, I was. All right, now, that's Skeletor. Is it not? All right, so as the story goes, Crowley went to the Great Pyramid. He sat in there for a while, and this image came to him, right? I was. Okay, let's see if we can qualify that. I was, Wikipedia. And this is where the spirit is going. All right, so I was is the name given to a voice that the English occultist and ceremonial magician Aleister Crowley reported to have heard on April 8th, 9th, and 10th in 1904. Crowley reported that this voice, which he considered originated with a non-corporeal being, dictated a text known as the Book of the Law. So he's saying that this spirit, this demon, came to him and dictated to him a book that he wrote called the Book of the Law. Okay, to him during his honeymoon in Cairo, Egypt. Okay, what was he doing in Cairo? Now, it also said something about him being in the Great Pyramid. So let's see. Kind of looking for it. Hippocrates, also Holy God. Crowley described the encounter in detail in his 1936 book, Equinox of the Gods, saying, "The voice of I was came apparently from over my left shoulder, from the furthest corner of the room. It seemed to echo itself in my physical heart in a very strange manner. Hard to describe. I have noticed a similar phenomenon when I have been waiting for a message fraught with great hope or dread." Da 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 da. Let's see. All right. It doesn't say anything about the Great Pyramid, but that's the story that I've heard. So, alternative views, gematria. So anyway, I was. And let me see. Let's go back, get the picture again, images. This is that's the depiction of I was. All right, so let's compare that with that. That's I was. All right, Skeletor, if you will. Or this is the template for what they call a gray or whatever. All right. What is Skeletor saying here? It is over for America. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Let's get back to this. And let's get it's over for America in the scriptures. All right. Is fallen, yeah? What is that? E-B-Y. All right. Let's go with Bible Hub because I want to see these different versions. Start with King James, right? The angel cried, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, has become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. This is talking about America. Okay? Babylon the Great is fallen, Babylon the Great is fallen. I guess that's all it's going to say. Fall. Fall did Babylon the Great. Additional translation. Let's see. Fallen. Babylon's fallen. Bear with me. Okay. Fallen. Good news. She has fallen. Okay, and what does it mean, fallen? Well, it's over. It is over for Babylon the Great. All right? So I was here, also known as Skeletor, is he's on point. Right? He's prophesying, if you will. Okay? So, I mean, with that, let's see what old Skeletor is actually saying here. Let's listen to him.
Huge news.
Salakia from the top. All right, so this is Full Spectrum Survival featuring Skeletor, or I was. 54 minutes ago, Red Alert News. China and Russia warning, it's over for America. Babylon the Great is fallen. Okay?
Absolutely huge news in the last couple of days. The United Kingdom, together with other European nations, have approved the delivery of depleted uranium ammunition to the Ukrainian front in their fight against Russia. Russia immediately backed this by saying, if you do this, we will return in kind. All throughout this conflict, Russia has said that the delivery or the use of any sort of depleted radioactive material would be seen as a dirty bomb, and that Russia would react to the providing countries appropriately. This is absolutely massive, and I can't believe that we're not seeing it on multiple news reporting agencies because they just are treating this like an effect of normal conflict when it is not. It was different when the United States of America, together with other U.S. NATO allies, used these type of materials in other countries. It was different because they weren't using them against nuclear-powered nations that had threatened World War III and complete nuclear annihilation if they were used on the grounds of war. With these countries providing the depleted uranium to Ukraine, we can expect to see a major escalation in the next couple of days. And in fact, we can expect Russia to react accordingly. Now, I spoke with some strategists who are going over the open source intelligence data gathering, and they say that everything that they are seeing points to that Russia is actually going to stand behind its words here, its threats.
Okay, and what words and what threats? Okay, well, all we have to do is go back here. Let's see. Slovakia. I thought I had, Slovak. You know what? That was on Nate. It was Nate yesterday. I'm not going to go get it. Anyway, it was when Xi Jinping and Vlad Putin were sitting at the same table. And here it is right here. Let me see. Let me get that. Slovak. Let me get this. Okay. It was this. Let's see. All right. All of this has to do with DU. What Skeletor just spoke on. Let's see where they're at with this. Bear with me. What is this?
Okay. The problem is that these can cause cancer, they blow up.
Okay, now they're talking about DU, which is depleted uranium, which is what's going to escalate the war. All right, which is going to, okay, it says, major alert China/Russia nuke warning to NATO. What is the nuke warning? The nuke warning is if you use depleted uranium, all right, we're going to respond in kind. That's what he's saying right here. Let's see if we can get that. And we brought this out yesterday, but this is very important because it's going to take this war to the next level. What is the next level? Nuclear.
Basically rejected this Chinese proposed peace plan outright. They prohibited the Ukrainians from even dignifying having any conversations, much less peace negotiations, when the West and Kiev are ready for it, as he says. However, so far we have not observed such readiness on their part. Moreover, at the time when we were discussing the possibilities, and this is when you're going to start to notice Xi Jinping become incredibly nervous. One other thing worth mentioning is that all the Chinese dignitaries here are wearing masks and none of the Russians are wearing masks. That's just a sign of the East-West divide that remains between the authoritarian leaders. Moreover, at the time when we were discussing the possibilities, so he's talking about current events now, this is just a few hours ago, of the Chinese peace settlement plan today, it became known that the UK deputy minister announced not only the supply of tanks to Ukraine, but also depleted uranium shells.
This is what everything is about. So uranium is needed to make nuclear weapons. So what Vlad is saying is if you're using nuclear weapons, I'll use nuclear weapons. So that's an escalation.
Now, why is this so important? Why are people so concerned about depleted uranium? For one, the advantage of using depleted uranium is that it's a denser armor-piercing round, which is why they want to use it. Now, the UK government, a spokesperson for the UK government, outright admitted today, which is the dumbest thing, why would you do this, that you were going to be sending some depleted uranium shells to stock their tanks that they're sending, their Challenger tanks. And of course, the Russians have a problem with this, they say, as should the Ukrainians. They should be the ones who have the really big problem because it technically is their territory, unless you're of the Russian belief that you annexed it to yours because of the referendum, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is that these can cause cancer, they blow up, and they spew radioactive dust everywhere, and it's a big mess after the war zone, and it basically makes a lot of places uninhabitable. And
that is a nuclear weapon. Okay? And that's what Vlad is saying.
Soldiers are fighting in a certain region and there's depleted uranium laying all around, those soldiers are likely going to get cancer down the road, possibly sooner than later, depending how much contact they made with it. So it's very important. Now, the Russians are saying that this constitutes using a nuclear type weapon.
Boom. Okay? And as a matter of course, then now we have to go tit for tat, and it raises the stakes in World War III.
You know, understand what Putin is about to say here. And remember, we talked about this months ago. We've been on this depleted uranium thing months ago, but they're only talking about it in the mainstream now. That's why you should watch this channel more often. Just not toot my own horn, but you know, I'm unfortunately on top of this stuff. Now take a look at this. Look at this. I've never seen Xi Jinping so uncomfortable.
Xi was using Morse code with his eyes right there. Okay, so, I mean, we don't have to go into that any further. Let's listen again to Skeletor and his opening, okay, Slovakia, and see what he said about DU, all right? Now it makes more sense after you watch what was said yesterday, all right? So let's back this up a little and listen to his spiel, and then we'll try to keep it short, but this is why why is America over? Because they're moving into nuclear war. You bring those DU shells over there, Vlad straight out said, you use DU, we go to nukes. You started it, basically. So let's see.
Countries appropriately. This is absolutely massive, and I can't believe that we're not in kind. All throughout this conflict, Russia has said that the delivery or the use...
Slovakia, a little more. Now listen close to what he's saying. This is today. The Canadian prepper, Nate, was yesterday. So
Ukrainian front in their fight against Russia. Russia immediately backed this by saying, if you do this, we will return in kind. All throughout this conflict, Russia has said that the delivery or the use of any sort of depleted radioactive material would be seen as a dirty bomb, and that Russia would react to the providing countries appropriately. This is absolutely massive, and I can't believe that we're not seeing it on multiple news reporting agencies because they just are treating this like an effect of normal conflict.
Okay, so what are we seeing? Okay, we're not seeing that World War III just moved up a level to nuclear. What we are seeing is Donald Trump. It's okay with Donald Trump if he gets shot. Donald Trump wants to be put in handcuffs. What are we seeing over here? Okay, we're seeing a clown. We're seeing a straight up clown show that is obscuring what? It's obscuring this. Okay? Everybody's attention is on Donald Trump. Okay? Now, what are they going to do to Donald Trump? They're going to frog march him. They're going to put him in cuffs. And see, they need this to last into next week. Okay? They need this story, this Donald Trump story, that they should have. Wasn't he supposed to be in cuffs on last Tuesday? 2 days ago. Today's Thursday. He should have been in cuffs, according to him, on Tuesday and arrested. Okay, today is Thursday. Now they're talking about next week. So what are they doing? They're walking the dog. They're wagging the dog down the street to do what? To distract from this. Okay? Now, in order for these people to introduce depleted uranium into the theater of war over in Eastern Europe, they had to have been discussing and planning this going back at least a couple of months to get here. Okay, you don't just make the decision that that's what you're going to do. That doesn't happen overnight. Okay, so they knew, well, now we're at this level. Here's what we have to do because we're at this point in the conflict, right? And this was mapped out and war gamed, or it was considered, if you will, months ago. Just like Nate just said, we were talking about this months ago. Didn't he say that? Where's Nate? I'm not going to play it, but Nate said we've been talking about this for months. They've been throwing DU around, going back months. Now we're here. Okay, what is it going to do? It's going to take things to the next level. All right, let's finish this up and we'll go ahead and close.
When it is not. It was different when the United States of America, together with other US NATO allies, used these type of materials in other countries. It was different because they weren't using them against nuclear-powered nations that had threatened World War III and complete nuclear annihilation if they were used on the grounds of war. With these countries providing the depleted uranium to Ukraine, we can expect to see a major escalation in the next couple of days, and in fact, we can expect Russia to react accordingly. Now, I spoke with some strategists who are going over the open source intelligence data gathering, and they say that everything that they are seeing points to that Russia is actually going to stand behind its words here, its threats, and they will act on this, and you might even see a conflict arise in other countries. Will this bring about the false flag that many outlets have been warning about for months?
He said that other countries, that means World War. False flag means that Russia could explode some DU shells themselves and do a Gulf of Tonkin. All right? So is this thing not spiraling out of control? Absolutely.
Well, it absolutely could.
Absolutely.
And what does that mean for you and your family? We're going to be getting into that sort of information in this broadcast and every one hereafter, because we're at that point now where this world war is becoming really realized. And
there it is. Okay. And I mean, this isn't even on the World War III Daily Update. I have another video to make, but this is saying it all right here. Okay. This is saying it all. He's going to go into his prepping. How do we prep for atomic annihilation or nuclear annihilation? How do we prepare for that? Yeah, right. The men of the Lord now. You repent, acknowledge your offense, pray for forgiveness, and get into the strong tower that is Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right? B'Hashem HaKadosh. All right, so we can end it
as
here.
that happens, you're going to see all the other cogs of global conflict begin to fall into place. So what's happening? We have a complete and utter economic collapse taking place before our eyes.
Going into it's over for America. Okay, there's World War III and how we're all the way involved in it. World War III is about Russia against the United States. It's not NATO. It's not Ukraine. All right? This is about Babylon. Now he's going into all the other things in the polycrisis that is dealing with why it's over for Babylon the Great. Go ahead.
They are allowing you to be driven into complete desperation while they bail in and bail out major banking institutions. While they
going into the MOTB, right, which is the CEE, BEE, DEE, CEE. Okay? EIEIO.
make sure that the crypto bros don't lose a single dollar, not even a penny. Why is this being allowed to happen? Because the market and the economy is being held together with such fragility that it can absolutely take zero chances. They know that this is a game of confidence, and as confidence continues to wane in the United States military's capabilities and in the United States dollar, they know that any little thing can upset the entire cart. Look at what Russia and China are doing together. Look at what India and China and the BRICS countries. We have dozens of countries who are lining up right now to get involved with BRICS. That means that they are going to move away from America and away from the United States dollar. Russia became the largest producer of oil products to China, even surpassing Saudi Arabia. And India and China said that they're going to work together to basically build a new world order.
And what does that mean for Babylon the Great? No petrodollar. What does that mean for Babylon the Great? It's over. Okay? So they're going to throw everything they got militarily. They're not going to stop. All right? What does that mean for the men of the Lord? What does that mean for the hopeful elect? Let's get that. We'll go ahead and close. Let's get Matthew. Where are we at? Matthew 24. Where are we at with this thing? Okay. Right here. Start at 21. Matthew 24 and 21. For then, which is now, shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. Oh, you can see it. Skeletor, he just broke it down. He's breaking it down right now. No, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened. Okay? The Most High is shortening the day. There should no flesh be saved with all these nukes coming. But for the elect's sake, this is what it means for the elect. Those days shall be shortened. Okay? Here's where we are. The shortening of the day. So we're very, very close to the end. What are we very, very close to? Babylon is fallen, is fallen. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect will edify you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.